Allahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. And welcome to the technology show on Salam Media. It's called TechByte. My name is Faizel Patel. Absolutely wonderful to be in your company again this Sunday evening. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome all those that are tuned in via the different platforms that's on this particular one, also on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and many, many other platforms of Salam Media. Remember, you can interact with me by sending me a tweet on at Faizel Patel 143. I'm also on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143, and then also on Facebook.com/Faizel Patel. And if you are a YouTube subscriber or you check out YouTube, please check out my YouTube channel at Faizel Patel 143 and check out some of the videos that I've done there, whether it's reviews and normal videos as well. And you can subscribe to the channel and also hit the like button. So coming up in the show, we're going to be speaking about a number of things. Apple had a couple of launches this week, so we're going to be speaking about that. And then also the Royal Astronomy or Royal Astronomical Society awards the Meerkat Telescope team. So they gave them an award. So if you don't know what the Meerkat Telescope team is, well, I'm going to share that with you. And then also, I know a lot of you may not like Apple devices. So I'm going to be sharing 5 features to look for in a mid-range 5G Android smartphone. So if you are an Android fan and if you don't like Apple, and if you need a phone and you need one specifically because of the 5G services that will be rolled out this year and in the coming months, well, you need a 5G phone. So we can be speaking about that. There's also 2 big launches that's happening this week. So on Wednesday, we have a Samsung launch, which I will be attending. And then that's on Thursday, on Wednesday rather. And then on Thursday, there's the Huawei launch of the Mate 50 Pro that's happening there as well. So inshallah, I will bring you all of those news, all that news. And we inshallah will hopefully have Akram to tell us a little bit more. We did speak to him on this platform before. Akram Muhammad, he is the Chief Technology Officer of Huawei Consumer Electronics South Africa. So look forward to that coming up, inshallah. Before we get into the thick of things, obviously we know that there's been some reprieve for South Africans with regards to load shedding. I think we're hovering at around stage 4, stage 3, and stage 2. It changes so dramatically that you can't basically keep up rather, but you'll hear it all in the news on Salam Media tomorrow and the day after, or inshallah, the news team will actually keep you up to date. But a lot of questions for people asking me with regards to alternative power solutions. Remember, I still do have my inverter, which I'm using. That's the Mesa inverter. There is a YouTube video on it, by the way. You can go to my YouTube channel at faizelpatel.com and Faizel Patel on YouTube and search for the video called My Solution to Load Shedding. Now remember that the batteries I'm using for that particular inverter is the Royal batteries, and they lead batteries. They last for about 2 years. Mine is slowly starting to deplete, but those batteries are not really, I mean, they're expensive, but not really expensive compared to the lithium ion batteries and other alternative power solutions. You're looking at about 2,700 Rand, and they last you about 2 years. I think if you budget enough, you can save up when those batteries completely deplete, but I will keep you in the loop as well. Also coming up this week, inshallah, tomorrow or the next day, I will be receiving a delivery from Haval, South Africa. Haval are the new brand, the Chinese brand that's in the country. They make wonderful vehicles, and Haval decided to send me the Haval H6 hybrid. So I'm going to be driving that for a week. I love electric vehicles and I love new technology. And this particular Haval H6 is packed with technology. I mean, if you look at the Teslas that Elon Musk, South African-born Elon Musk, manufactures, and if you want to look at technology at a reasonable price, and I'm talking of the Mercs and PMs and many others will have technology that is just out of this world and it's like sitting in a cockpit. But if you want technology at an affordable price, then Haval is possibly the brand to go for. So one of the ones that I managed to test drive just for a day or so because somebody brought it home is the Haval Jolion, and this was the Superlux. And I can tell you one thing: when you sit in this particular vehicle, there is no knobs besides your steering wheel, indicators and wipers and all lot of other stuff. There is no other buttons. Everything is controlled via a smart screen. Call it a tablet, an iPad, whatever you want. Everything's controlled, and it's just absolutely brilliant. So the 86, inshallah, will be delivered to me tomorrow, and I will keep you up to date. Check out my Twitter handles for that as well. But let's jump into the first story for this evening. And this week, Apple seen or launched rather two new products, actually three new products, and one of them is the HomePod, but we'll come to that in the second segment of Apple's launches. So as I mentioned, Apple launched two next generation systems on chips, SoCs. You can call it the short version, that's what we call it, systems on a chip, the M2 Pro and M2 Max. Now, these are pricey. Apple has just gone to exorbitant heights as far as prices are concerned. The Silicon Valley company said the M2 Pro scales up the architecture of M2 to deliver an up to 12-core CPU and up to 19-core GPU together with up to 32 gigabytes of fast unified memory. Now, I know it's a lot of technical terms there, but if you want to read that story, you can go to thecitizen.co.za. And then they launched two new devices, two computers with these new chips. The one is called the Mac Mini, and the Mac Mini is actually quite cool because it looks like a little box the size of, I wouldn't say, I mean, looking at about this size, right? I don't know how else to explain it. A little bit smaller than a pizza box, I think. So if you look at the two devices on your screen now, that is the MacBook Pro that will feature the new chips that my engineers put up on the screen. So I don't have the picture of the Mac Mini, but that is a Mac Pros. But basically, they're focusing on the chips that's in these particular computers and the features that these computers can actually do with these new chips. So let's continue with that story. So Apple said the Mac Mini. Now, if you can check it out on search for it, the new Apple Mac Mini with the M2 and M2 Pro delivers faster performance and unified memory and advanced connectivity, including support for up to 2 displays on the M2 model. And then the availability, customers can order new Mac Mini models. That was the day I wrote it, which was on the 18th of January, with availability beginning on Tuesday, the January 24th. Now, the iStore does have availability, but like I mentioned, they are pricey. No South African pricing at the moment released, but I'm sure they will soon. And then the MacBook Pro, Apple also showcased the new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro featuring M2 Pro and M2 Max, which it said would bring even more power to the devices. Now, remember, if you go for the Max chip, right, it's going to be more expensive, and you're looking anywhere between 40,000 and upwards. I mean, they are quite expensive, especially for a computer. Now, Apple claims the new M2 Pro and M2 Max tackles a demanding task like effects rendering, which is up to 6 times faster than the fastest Intel-based MacBook Pro, and also color grading, which is up to 2 times faster, right? And then availability, customers said that it will be available. Well, customers can order new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro from that day on the 18th, with availability also beginning on the 24th. So I do love Apple products, but they are quite expensive. I haven't changed my MacBook Pro in a long time. I mean, it's just the affordability, considering that we have so much other expenses these days, to spend 40,000 on a computer, it is just doesn't make sense at all. So that's the two computers that Apple actually launched. Then they unveiled something else, which is the HomePod. Now, if you haven't seen the HomePod, basically it's a smart speaker. Now, I use this all the time. Now, I just want to clarify something. To use the HomePod and to reap all the benefits of the HomePod, you have to subscribe to Apple Music. As you can see, the HomePod, I have a similar one to the one you see on your screen, but mine is actually white, and I actually made a mistake. I should have actually bought the black one so it doesn't look dirty. And it wasn't available in South Africa at the time. My brother was in Dubai, and there's a genuine Apple store there, and I asked him to buy it for me, but the duties, and it was quite expensive. So this is basically a smart speaker. To use all the features of this particular smart speaker, you can tell it to switch on the lights, and there's a whole lot of other items that works in conjunction with it. You can search for certain things. You can ask Siri to do certain things. But to reap the benefits, you must subscribe to Apple Music. Now, I'm not promoting music in any way. Apple Music has such an array of different genres, music and a whole lot of stuff, even Nizms and Quran. Now, I use mine specifically for Quran, predominantly for Quran. So I'll listen to Surah Yasin or listen to Surah Yusuf, which is my favorite surah in the whole entire Quran, among many others. I do have the favorite surahs, but Surah Yusuf is just my mind because I love the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and I always listen to it in by one of my favorite imams as well, Sheikh Maher Al Muaikli. So he was in South Africa recently, and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, I had the pleasure of actually meeting Sheikh Maher Al Muaikli at Masjid Al Nur in Alodium, and we read Juma behind him, and just listening to Surah Al-Fatiha. Reading behind him was just absolutely mesmerizing. I love the way he reads Surah Al-Fatiha, and I listen to him on all the time on the HomePod. So if you want to check out the pictures of myself and Sheikh Maher, you can actually go to my Twitter handle. There's a picture of me there. I also wrote a story about it on the Citizen website. You can check it out. One of the things of the imams that I noticed that people think otherwise, but they actually quite very humble. And when I managed to speak to Sheikh Maher, he thanked the South Africans for their warmth and for welcoming him. Absolutely wonderful individual. So check out those pictures there. So the HomePod that Apple launched that I spoke about, absolutely wonderful device. You can buy the smart speaker. They start from around 2,500 for the old one, but they do a lot of stuff, right? So I was speaking about the speaker. So Apple unveiled this second generation HomePod, a smart speaker that it says delivers next level acoustics. It's got the same design like mine, acoustics like the original model. The new HomePod's technology can do automatic room correction by listening to the feedback from the microphones and calibrate itself. Absolutely amazing technology. And then multiple HomePods. If you've got that, you can connect them all together, and you can use AirPlay to connect them. But I think the best part for me is that the new HomePod, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. Apple said that with sound recognition, HomePod can listen to for smoke and carbon monoxide alarms and send a notification directly to the user's iPhone if a sound is identified. So you are at home, and if you have a smoke alarm on and something happens to your home, or if there's a fire or something, it can send a message directly to your iPhone, and you will know something is happening. So these things are getting smarter and even better. And coming to pricing and availability, well, I don't know what pricing they're going to be. They got it as $299. Now, if you do the math loosely, and if you use the exchange rate at the time I calculated it, which was the 19th of January, comes out to around 5,179. I expect this to be slightly more, given duties and all of other stuff, because the old one that I have is actually discontinued, and it is available to order. So that is quite exciting. And if you like to listen to Lisms and you like to listen to Quran, then maybe this is something that you need to consider. A lot of people will subscribe to Spotify or even YouTube, but again, the music aside, right? I'm not promoting music. Apple's quality of sound, I'm not talking about music specifically, but Apple's quality of sound, the sound that is emitted from these speakers, and the clarity is just on a different level. So normally when I listen to Surah Yusuf, I actually put it full blast because it's such a beautiful story. And if I compare it to Spotify or to other streaming services, it's just not at the same level as Apple. So Apple Music specifically for me, because I subscribe to, and my children love Nizams, especially Zain Bika, Cotton Candy Sky, and I'm sure a lot of you will enjoy that as well and love it as well. Also by the other Nahat reciters. There's so many that to mention. So look out for that speaker. They really can do wonderful stuff. All right, coming on to our third story. Well, this is quite exciting and very proud moment for South Africa. The Royal Astronomical Society, or short for as they are mentioned, RAS, has awarded the 2023 Group Achievement Award to the Meerkat team. Now, what is the Meerkat team? I want to explain to you quickly. The Meerkat telescope is an array of 64 interlinked receptors situated 90 kilometers outside the small northern cape out of Carnarvon. All right, I hope I pronounced it correctly. It is a precursor to the Square Kilometer Array or SKA telescope and will be integrated into the mid-frequency component of SKA Phase 1. Now, in its citation, the RAS recognized the Meerkat team for a series of spectacular observations in radio astronomy, the highest being the images of the galactic center region and the spectacular radio bubbles. The South African Radio Astronomy Observatory, or SARAO, his name is Kulu Pasewe, the spokesperson, said the Meerkat team has supported the development of science and technology in Africa and stress-tested technology for the SKA. So, I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love astronomy. Not because, I mean, it's science related, but when you take up the telescope or if you look at the moon or if you look at the stars, right? And if you have a very powerful telescope and if you go to the planetarium in Johannesburg, which is under renovation at the moment, and it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And if you see this or if you've seen, certain things with the telescope, you understand the beauty and the power of Allah. I mean, we are just a small, tiny little piece, excuse me, in a big, big galaxy. So that's the Meerkat galaxy telescope array that you see there, and it's situated in the Eastern Cape. Just on the screen at the moment. Wonderful, wonderful listing. It just goes on and on. And I was emphasizing on the beauty and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing that there are so many generations and stars and galaxies that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all these things. And the telescope gives us a small but a tiny glimpse into the beauty and the atmosphere and space that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Now, I just want to share something quickly with you. You know, people were asking me, how far does space actually go? So, that's a very difficult question to answer. So, very many years ago when I was still in madrasa, one Molana, gave an example. He says, if you take a newborn baby that's 1 day old, and if you put him into a spaceship, and if you send him on the spaceship, assuming that he has all amenities and everything, and if you let him travel and travel and travel until he's 100 years old, he will still not reach the edge of the first heaven. So that's how big, the world and the universe is. And remember, there are 7 heavens, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all of them, every one of them. So imagine the beauty and power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I love astronomy, just sitting sometimes on the clear moonlight, looking at the moon and marveling at the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, or even the sun. Don't look directly at the sun, but taking the beauty of the sunset or the beauty of the sunrise. It's just something that mesmerizes. When I'm driving in the morning and when I'm leaving after Fajr and you look at the sunrise, it is just absolutely stunning. And you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the sun doesn't come up with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. So astronomy, delve into it. That's one of the reasons, that I like Surah Yusuf. Just to digress a bit, because in Surah Yusuf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Yusuf alayhi salam told his father Yaqub alayhi salam that he had a dream that 11 stars and the sun and the moon made sajda to him. Remember that? 11 stars and the sun and the moon made sajda to him, and his father told him, do not tell your brothers these, or do not tell your brothers dream, for fear we will go against you. But please, I want to emphasize the beauty of Surah Yusuf. It is one of the most remarkable stories in the Quran, among many others as well. So that's the Royal Astronomy. South Africa, very proud moment for the country there, that they've been awarded their honor from the Royal Astronomical Society. And when the new telescope or the planetarium is ready, you can actually check it out. Just marvel at the beauty. All right, coming on to the last story, but before we get on to that, I've had a question that has come through, And this is with regards to the people that were speaking about UPSs and inverters and solar and that kind of stuff. So let me give you some tips, and I hope this will help you, inshallah. So if you have an inverter, right? Or if you don't have an inverter, so I'm giving you a couple of scenarios. If you have an inverter, and if you don't have an inverter, but you rely a lot on your internet connection, right? So you got fiber at home, or you got what do you call it? I don't even remember what the old ones are called. Not dial-up, but the old telecom lines. And if you're using the internet now, remember that when you have load shedding, right, and if your inverter dies, and if you have load shedding and if you don't have inverter, you're not going to have electricity. So using candles or using rechargeable lights or whatever the case may be. But you have a fiber connection, and if you have another internet connection and this fiber won't work, your internet connection won't work because there is no power. So there are two things that I bought because my batteries are getting, or my inverter's batteries are getting depleted very quickly. So I don't have that full connection. Last week sometime, remember when we were doing the interview with the individual from Samsung, I was actually doing that interview on load shedding. During load shedding, the inverter had died, but I still had internet connection. And that's what I want to share with you today, right? That if you don't have lights, you can do without lights, perhaps. Some people can, some people can't, right? And you can do without maybe your fridge for a few hours or even a stove. But the question I want to ask you is, can you do without internet connectivity? If you have WhatsApp or you have internet, if you don't have internet connection, you can't get WhatsApp, you can't do anything, you can't do WhatsApp calls, you can't serve the internet, children can't do their homework, you're probably working at home, you can't do that, your business affected. Now, what I found very, very useful is that you get yourself these little mini UPS boxes, right? They look like the size of a lunch box. They're about what? I would say 20 to 25 centimeters, a little bit smaller. They come into different denominations. That's battery size. So you get a 9300 mAh, a 5300 mAh. That's a milliamp hour battery. Now, what I did is, and I bought two of them. One, I connect to my ONT box. For those that don't know what an ONT box is, an ONT box is basically where the fiber from outside comes into your home. It looks like a little box in the corner. And it's either a Huawei box or it's another box, but it depends what it is. So the cable comes from outside, plugs into this ONT box, and then the ONT box is a cable that comes out from there, and that plugs into your router. So I bought two because my ONT box is my bedroom, and the router is in the lounge. So I bought two, and I plugged in one of these UPS boxes on the ONT box and the other one on my router. And now, even if I don't have lights, right? If I don't have lights or if I don't have any electricity, at least I still have internet connection, which is very important considering the line of work I'm currently in at the moment. Very difficult, especially when you're working from home. And if you don't have any internet connectivity, that means you have to drive all the way to the studio or you have to drive all the way to the Citizen newsroom, and it may be a schlep. How long does it last? Anywhere between 5 and 6 hours, probably more, but it's just powering your internet connectivity. You can even charge your cell phones with it. So if you want to know where you can get them, I bought them from a very good friend of mine. A very good friend of mine, his name is Jamil, and he managed to organize quite a few. He's getting overwhelmed by people that's wanting these mini UPS boxes. If you want these details, check my Twitter handle and you'll find that I did tweet it. Even my Facebook, I did tweet it there as well, and you'll find his details. Please contact him if you're looking for these mini UPS boxes, which has the potential to keep your internet connection on. And I'm sure your kids will be quite happy because the kids love the internet, and they'll be quite happy to ensure that they have internet connectivity. But anyway, coming on to the last story for this evening, 5 features to look for in a mid-range 5G Android smartphone. I'm going to go through the details quickly with you. If you want to read it, it is available on the Citizens website. The first thing you need to consider is budget. Your budget is the obvious place to start when you are looking to choose a 5G device with prices ranging from 8,000 to 25,000. You might think that you are priced out of the market as a mid-range smartphone user, but there are some great options available for below 4,000. So that's the first thing you need to look forward to, right? Number two, you need to look at speed and performance. If you are getting a 5G device, you are probably a person who appreciates rich media and gaming applications. I'd look for a smartphone that offers enough RAM, that's random access memory, and processing power to ensure a smooth user experience on your apps. All right, so that's something to look forward to. Camera, I think a lot of people like taking photos and selfies, including myself. So camera wise, you should expect nothing less from a mid-range 5G smartphone than a capable triple camera on the rear of the phone and a high quality selfie camera. So that's something that you need to look forward to. A 13 megapixel triple camera captures unforgettable moments. You don't have to have a very high spec one. And then display, I think that's very important. Clarity on the phone, a display that offers razor sharp, okay, a razor sharp sort of clarity, increased contrast, and crisper definition. To enjoy crisp media, video calls, and gaming, you will want an HD plus display with true to life colors. And then the most important, in my opinion, out of everything is battery life. Especially in these times of remote work and load shedding, you need a 5G smartphone that can go through the day without needing to recharge. Look for a device that delivers all-day performance as well as safe, fast charging. So that story available on the Citizens website if you want to read it and you want to check it out as well. So that basically almost brings us towards the end of today's tech show. Remember the two events that are going to be taking place this week. On Wednesday is the Samsung Unpacked event, and on Thursday is the Huawei Mate 50 Pro. If you stay tuned to my Twitter handle, you'll find all the updates there, inshallah. And then from tomorrow, I will have the Haval Hybrid. It's the 86 Hybrid, which is electric and petrol. And I know some of you, or maybe most of you might be looking for a market and you got some money to spend. Inshallah, Allah bless you with more. Maybe something you're looking forward to and you're looking for a hybrid, something that is within your affordability range. You can stay tuned for that as well. Remember that there are other cars there, but if you look at the reviews of the cars online, that if you take an ABC car, will have all the bells and whistles, everything, right? And it will cost like a million rand. And if you take the Haval, will have all the bells and whistles, it will cost you around 500,000 rand. So it doesn't matter. It's just one badge. And sometimes branded or more exclusive brands sometimes do not offer as much features as a brand that is known. And Haval is really making strides. You just have to look at the country's roads to see how many people are driving these wonderful cars. So I'll be getting that vehicle tomorrow, inshallah. Stay tuned for that as well, for all the details, and there will be a review video of it as well. And inshallah, we will share that with you. And next week, inshallah, I hopefully will speak to one of the two people at Samsung to give us details about their launches. So inshallah, we may have an interview to give you more details about the launches that are taking place. All right, we just got about a minute left. I want to take this opportunity to say Jazakallah once again for tuning in to the tech show on Salam Media, TechByte. It's an absolute pleasure to have you in your company. If there's any questions that you may have with regards to the electricity crisis, or you're looking for viable solutions to electricity crisis on the cars or smartphones, you can get hold of me by Twitter at Faizel Patel 143. I have a blue tick next to my name, so I don't have to worry about some anonymous or some stalker that's answering you. I'm also on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. I'm on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143, and I'm also on YouTube at Faizel Patel 143. So please drop me a comment there as well. Also, I want to take this opportunity to make dua for all of you at home. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you safe and grant you a wonderful and productive week, and shower you and your families with infinite mercy and blessings, inshallah. May Allah accept all our du'as and ease the ummah of this plight of load shedding and difficulties we are going through at the moment. May Allah make it easy for us. We are living in a country that is riddled with challenges, but we are also living in a country where we can read our salah and we can go to various masajid, so many masajid in just one extension where you live. There is no excuse not to sit in that musalla and make dua and cry for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask him to ease our plight. So from myself, Faizel Patel, and my engineer for this evening, Brother Sadiq, please do take care of yourselves and each other. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.